Thank God, I was just dreading having the last word there. Good on you, good on you. I was asked two questions particularly about Jersey. One, are the people ready for change? Do they want change? I think, unfortunately, the answer to that is no. No. Jersey is a very comfortable society. It's built its comfort on what I would say is an over-reliance on a single industry. That single industry has swamped any alternatives. But we've been very comfortable and very content for a long time. I think we still are. Certainly judging by voting patterns, there is not a great deal of will to change that much. And in particular, I was also asked, and what will happen if finance goes? And I'm torn there between completely negative black future, which we're always warned about. We have been told for 20 years in Jersey that if finance goes, we are doomed. It's the end of the world as we know it. And a lot of people believe that. I would like to think that the traditional inventive entrepreneurial Jerseyman will see something come through. If we clear our own internal playing field and finance were to reduce in size substantially, then it seems to me that creates space for other industries to open up. Whether they are green industries, for example, we sit on the highest tidal range in the world. We should be able to develop that. At the moment we can't, because all the time we're talking about alternatives, we're competing with finance, which has high wages and can attract the best into itself. It's almost like a vampire. I don't mean that. I don't mean to go there. I'll take that one back. But it is very dominant. It's very dominant. If it were to go, then that opens up space to develop other industries. I hope Jersey can do that. What it would mean is that our 0-10 downward spiral would have to go, because it would be pointless trying to compete for the finance sector. Our tax rates, I hope, would go back up. We're not talking 0-10, we're talking 20% at least. I would hope also then we could actually have a rational and progressive tax rates rather than what we appear to be doing now, which is desperately going for regressive taxation, which actually harms the poor more than the rich. And that, I think, might stop.
So very briefly, get back to some questions. I think that someone mentioned the Bretton Woods Agreement. I think that's what we need. It's a new Bretton Woods Agreement with a new architecture for the whole finance and economy of the world. You know that the IMF, for instance, has done things that today, in retrospect, are horrible. We know that the debt has become a political instrument indeed. You know also that the funds given to Russia, to Helsinki by the IMF, were diverted, as we know, to tax havens, so there is much to say on that. I'd like to get back to the principle of taxation. Taxation is essential to democracy. It's not only capitalism, it is essential to democracy, as some think here. Remember that the USA was founded on this slogan, no taxation without representation. Remember the Boston Tea Party and so on. We have to get back to basics in these matters. Charity is a great thing, and I think here many associations have proved that it is essential. But we shouldn't forget that perhaps justice should come first. Just about the question of the new world that is emerging, and I think this new world seriously needs to humanize the jungle this global village has become. Recently, the US Labor Secretary warned there is a new sheriff in town. That was about Obama. I think we are hoping for many sheriffs to be in town in London on the G20. Concerning Jersey, it is vital to suggest that scenarios for a post-tax haven development have to be considered immediately. In the case of the Channel Islands, I think that many options have been unexplored, notably with Normandy and Brittany. Chambers of Commerce in Rennes, in Caen, are prepared to do lots of things with you. 80% of your food comes from Britain. I'm not here as a representative of interest in this, but I think it is amazing to see that when you know how this island has evolved. the autoroute des estuaires, you know, this magic highway that goes from Northern Europe down to Spain, drains millions of people every year. You could you could have energy from that. You could have thousands of visitors from that if you made the right job to advertise the beauty of this island, which I know well as well. To conclude and to get back to wider perspectives, we all must focus on one clear objective in the G20 summit ahead of us. We are against the tax avoidance industry, not against the finance industry. This is a battle. This is a war without a name. I think we have to come to the realization that it's a war that makes millions of victims. It's a war without a name. And the battle we are fighting in a non-violent way, but with determination, will not stop. This is the message that we and the people we represent internationally today want forcefully to deliver to our representatives in the G20, with a serious warning as well that the millions of people in the world who now know how this global crisis was engineered from greed and tolerance or inaction in the face of it will not give, whatever you call it, financial capitalism or anything, will not give this form of economy and finance in Jersey or in any other place another chance. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. In the minus 2 minutes left, I would just like to make three very brief final comments. Well, first of all, of course, thank you all for coming here and participating in what I think was a very constructive and a really extremely rich debate on this issue, which for sure, from our perspective, will not be a one-shot event. I mean, we pretend to have a constructive series of debates in different other countries, etc., etc. So I hope this really will be the first step of a longer series of convergence spaces with citizens from tax havens, from development NGOs, trade unions, etc., etc. This is a very important first step, so I'm really very happy to thank you for participating in this, launching a new dynamic in this direction. Secondly, I would like to announce that one of the concrete outcomes and follow-ups that we would like to give to this particular event is to write a letter to the government of Jersey to invite for these kind of constructive debates of exchange of ideas towards this, what we were calling transition towards a different way of doing economics. So this is something that was raised at the beginning by Alex. We are taking good note of that, and we intend to have a concrete follow-up in this direction, and we hope that this will really bring constructive dialogues with the authorities here. And third, I would just like to invite you, if you would like to join us to a second day of well, it will not be a classic debate like this, but we are organizing tomorrow a guided tour through a series of well-known banks here in Jersey, which will be educative and will be very friendly. And the rendezvous is taking place tomorrow at 9:30 a.m. at the Café La Frégate, or the Frégate. Okay, so you are almost welcome if you want to join us there tomorrow. Thank you all very, very much.